Russia attacking a city in the heartland in a cyber attack. You know, Galesburg, Illinois appears to be a typical small city in the Midwest, but that city of 32,000 people, say officials, was hit by the Russians during the 2016 presidential campaign. The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security saying the hackers were from the GRU, that is the Russian intelligence service. They are allegedly linked through servers in the Netherlands. Well, the Illinois Board of Elections tells Fox News of 7.9 million registered voters in Illinois. About 76,000 of them may have had their personal voter registration information hacked. And of those, nearly 1 in 5 of all the voters hit, 14,121 of them are residents of Galesburg, which authorities say was attacked by Moscow at random because it has some similar digital voting numbers. Authorities want to prevent what happened in Galesburg from happening to you. The Russian assault on our election system has prompted new measures to protect your vote in the midterms.
If you can get into a voter roll, you can change it. You could add people to it, you could delete people to it, and you could create chaos on Election Day.
Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford is a key sponsor of the Secure Elections Act, legislation aimed at providing local election officials with new tools to guard against election hacking.
We need to be able to step up our game to be able to help protect the systems. There's 21 different states the Russians probed in 2016. They didn't get into all of those states, but they were probing and looking around to be able to see what they could do.
Officials caution there is no evidence any vote was actually changed. But what is known is that foreign entities did poke around into some states' voter rolls, checked individual voter registrations, and also assessed the type of election software that states use. And what's more, state officials did not even have the security clearance to be told their systems were under attack. The new bill changes that. It grants one-day security clearances to state and local officials, creates a new panel of cybersecurity experts to assess vulnerabilities, and provides more federal money for states to beef up their election security.
The bill really does offer the key steps that Congress should be doing to protect our elections.
Larry Norden, an election expert at the Brennan Center for Justice, is the author of the report Securing Elections from Foreign Interference. He wishes the new measures were in place right now.
There's a vulnerability there, and when you're talking about the potential for a state actor, whether it's Russia or China or North Korea or Iran, and the intelligence agencies tell us we've got to worry about all of these guys, then there's a vulnerability.
Norden says while congressional proposals are a much-needed step, old voting machines need to be replaced. A Brennan Center survey of more than 200 election officials in 33 states found they want to buy new machines by the next presidential election, but right now do not have the money.
That's a concern not only because older machines are more likely to break down, they're also more likely to be vulnerable to cyber attack. You're talking about systems that haven't gone through the more sophisticated certification process that we have now, and that often run on outdated software like Windows 2000.
In 2016, we know that Russian actors targeted state election systems.
Last month, the Senate Intelligence Committee held hearings on election security. Officials called for states to only use voting machines that provide paper proof of a vote, a so-called paper trail, not connecting machines to the internet, and mandating audits of the votes after every election.
Maintaining the integrity of our voting systems and, more importantly, the public's faith that their votes will be counted in a fair and accurate way is extraordinarily critical.
You expect the Russians to try it again?
I would fully expect the Russians to try it again.
And Lankford cautions it's not just Moscow. He warns other adversaries, even domestic activist groups, could try to target your vote.
If they could determine, hey, I want to create some sort of turmoil in the American government or in a certain state, now that they've seen the Russians do it once, that can be copycatted by a lot of folks. And obviously, it doesn't have to be a foreign actor next time. So I think we just have to remain vigilant in the process. Our election system is important. We need to make sure that we secure those.
Now, the Illinois Department of Elections also tells us that several new safeguards were put in place after the attack to try and prevent a repeat, such as resetting all passwords, adding encryption software, and now they monitor the web server logs every day to detect any other possible attempt. But election experts are warning that some states remain vulnerable. And as Senator Lankford told us, while it was the Russians this time, next time it could be somebody else.